glad to celebrate that we serve the only true and living God. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for waiting. I was trying to have my devices set up, or my devices should say, so that we can have our engagement. As is the common practice now, I'm not in studio, I'll hardly ever be there. But we're here, and Yahweh remains faithful. Would you be kind enough to inform the others that we're now present? You can tag them, message them, whatever you do, let them know that we're here and that we're ready to start this broadcast. Yahweh is faithful. His mercies endure forever. His love is amazing. I also have a significant challenge, I think, with the data streaming. It's all clear. Thank you. Thank you. For now, it's clear. So, the times when I do not get a chance to see your notifications and stuff like that, but be here. Okay, or your comments, I should say, or reactions. Greetings and blessings to you all. We're speaking today about rebuke, offense, and forgiveness. We're continuing when I last spoke. I was come as you are ministry with the saints there at Apostle Thomas, and we began this engagement. So I bid you shalom, and I hope that you have the conviction, that assurance that it's always well with you. Doesn't matter what you face, it is always well. And once we function by that conviction, then we have the assurance in our hearts that Yahweh remains faithful to us, faithful to what He is, and of course we are His. It's a blessing. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Offense, or we begin with rebuke, offense, and forgiveness. This aspect of this message, of this discourse, has arisen from my observation as an apostle of the Lord Yeshua, that persons do not handle correction or rebuke very well. And as a result of that, it lends itself to my speaking to it. Additionally, the trend that's become quite common even among saints of Yeshua is that when individuals are corrected or are rebuked, according to what the scripture prescribes they are offended more than they are obedient. And then out of that offense, in this case when we speak to forgiveness, is when those individuals may want to think that they have been wronged. And so they would sit and wait for the one who corrected them to go to them and seek to make peace, seek to make them feel better. But we should not ever have a posture of offense whenever correction presents itself and it is godly, and it is righteous, and it is of Yahweh. Whenever rebuke, as stern as it is, as sharp as it is, as painful as it may be for some of you, whenever rebuke presents itself to you, especially from one whom you look up to as a leader, and whom you see as having been sent by Yahweh, you do not ever allow the posture of offense to present itself, ever in that equation. You're not called to be offended by correction. You're called to grow based on correction. You've been chosen to become transformed, to be conformed to the image and the likeness of Messiah Yeshua. Shaul told the church at Corinth that he had made a vow. Shalom, shalom, and blessings to all of you. He made a commitment as a Hebrew man to present the church at Corinth as a chaste virgin. You need to understand in culture how serious that is. It meant that he was saying he's going to protect and preserve, chastise, whatever he has to do to ensure that the church is presented to the Messiah as one that was pure. Now, we are at Galatia here. And in Galatia, a problem arose. where this body of people, they drifted away from the apostles' doctrine. And let me say to you now, I really hope that you can hear me clearly today, because this is important. Little words, I tell you, simple words that may sound simple to some people, should be resonating within your spirit as a saint. An entire body of people, of believers, drifted away from the apostles' doctrine, from the apostles' teaching. Why? Because it was, in order for you to really be a saint of Yeshua's, you have to go through the law. There seem to be some glitches in the broadcast, but we'll be fine. They were compelling individuals to return to legalistic observances of the law. Shaul, being a very senior Pharisee, before he got converted, before he was saved and transformed, he followed the law, and he was zealous to ensure that those who didn't do it were actually killed. This man was so much transformed that he was now fighting against those who wanted to drag people back into what he once sought to defend and sought to promote, because he came to the knowledge of the truth. In this rebuke, Shaul said to them, in the third section it would be, the scriptures, 11 chapters and verses, just for your referencing. He said, "You stupid Galatians, who has bewitched you? Who has put a spell on you all, for you to turn away from what you know to be the power that got you where you are, to follow nonsense? To follow, why was it called nonsense? Not because the law was evil, but because the purpose of them turning to the law was stupid." I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to quicken you if I can, that you ought to be very mindful of anyone, and also avoid anyone who seeks to have you return to keeping what is called the law. Because the perception that people may have, and some may have the same, is that if you don't follow what is called the law or the commandments, and what do you follow? Well, there is a law actually documented in Scripture. It's called the law of love and the law of faith. That's found in Hebrews. Messiah Yeshua has given us a new law. It's called the law that pertains to love and the law of trusting Him. This is important because no man has been made righteous in reference to Torah, to the old covenant. No saint today can be made righteous in reference to that. It has to do with how do you, first of all, function in love. By this shall men know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. Again, it sounds simple, but I don't know why we have such difficulty getting there. There are those who you may consider, or you consider yourself to be saved. I am telling you that if you do not love another saint, you are a murderer. If you do, and don't tell me that you love somebody but you can't treat them properly. If you do not love the saints, you are classified according to the doctrine of the emissary. You are classified as a murderer. So if you flip your television on, or mostly on your phone now, so you're on your device and you scroll through and you see, oh, there's a mass killing somebody and somebody killed somebody, and you say, oh, that person's terrible. How could somebody kill another person? You are equally guilty. You, if you do not love a saint, you are a murderer. And loving a saint is not saying in your mind, I love this person, but I can't stand him. No, loving somebody is to ensure that what Scripture dictates is what you follow, which is that A, you will be passionately loving. You'll be zealously loving. That's what Scripture commands the saints to do. To be zealously loving to each other. It is unfortunate that today I'm speaking probably to those of you, some of you, who are murderers according to Yahweh's order. And you're of the view that you are a saint. By what standard? The commandment, the instruction, and the doctrine of the elder Yochanan was clear. Yochanan said that if you do not love your brother, you are a murderer. If you don't love your sister, you're a murderer. You have a dictate, an order, a directive, as a matter of fact, that as a saint you have to love anyone else who's classified as a saint. And by the way, the emissaries, according to Scripture, we are the ones who present to you, in reference to the flock, we are the ones who will tell you that this is the according to these descriptions, these characteristics, that is how you know them. By their fruit you shall know them. So the emissaries' doctrine present itself to the church, and then the church will say, okay, then based on what the emissaries have said, I know what the saints are and who the saints are. And anyone who tells you that you should not be following what the emissaries say in reference to what is true and how they function and who you should associate with, that person has to have a mark on them. And I will always, when I'm teaching, hear the thoughts and hear probably the conversations that some of you may have within yourself and with others. And you're concerned because, after all, this is my mother or my brother, and are we so close, and how can I do this, and how can I be able to tell this person whatever? Listen, let me make this clear to you as an apostle of Yeshua today. If there is any personality, which is a person possessing a characteristic, if there's any personality who is not, or that is not an emissary, any person is not an emissary, and that person intimidates your obedience, you intimidates you to the point where you have a difficulty obeying the emissaries, you have to be careful to ensure that you avoid such an individual. And secondly, that you have the boldness of Yeshua HaMashiach to confront such an individual. Anybody whose personality makes you not inclined to obey the emissaries, you have to have the boldness to confront and the courage to withdraw yourself from such a person. There are those who pop up. You don't have to follow apostle. You got to follow the man. Why you got to listen to him? I'm talking about saints who speak in that manner. I know what they said. I know what Tamu said. I know what Apostle Lambert, because one says Zechariah. I know what they say. I know what Bissoon said, but I don't have to do that. And they intimidate you into saying you don't have to be obedient to what you're hearing. You must develop the courage to say that for as long as the emissaries of Yeshua to whom I submit, as long as they teach me a doctrine that is sound, I shall not deviate from it. Let them say that you no longer belong to their company. Let them say that you can no longer be friends, or whatever they want to classify it as. You have been rescued from destruction. Because at Galatia, the saints were being dragged into this group of domineering teachers who tried to pull them away from the apostles and make them follow after what was contrary. And so Shaul began to address them. Now, chapter 4, verse 8 is where we pick up from. And what's amazing in Galatia is that the church was being rebuked while they were receiving doctrine. When they were receiving sound doctrine, apostolic teaching, they were being rebuked sharply. They did not allow offense to block their hearing or to stop them from receiving truth. While they were receiving truth, they were being rebuked sharply. I don't know what posture you find yourself in today, or what state you'll be in when I speak, because some of you will be highly offended. But you will need to understand that the church at Galatia, when they were receiving correction, they were also receiving doctrine. Galatians chapter 4 verse 8 reads, "In the past, when you did not know Yahweh, you served as slaves, beings which in reality are non-gods." Ooh. When you did not know Yahweh, Shaul told the church of Galatia, you served as slave beings, which are non-gods. Which means that those of you who serve Yahweh are gods. When you are lost, you are non-gods. Shalom, Simon. Shalom, my sister and others. When you serve Yahweh, you are a god. And some of you get uncomfortable when you hear this. You are a powerful being in the earth. You are not a weakling who's supposed to be afraid of people. When you serve Yahweh, you are a god. I will tell you again. When you are not serving Yahweh, you are a non-God. N-O-N dash God. You're a non-God. When you serve Yahweh, you are a God. You are no ordinary being. So how are you so easily intimidated? How are you so easily distracted by nonsense of the world? When you serve Yahweh, you possess power that exceeds that of any other human being who doesn't serve him. So you're supposed to walk with confidence, though humble. You're supposed to walk with authority, though humble. You're supposed to possess boldness, although you're humble. You're not supposed to be intimidated by anybody. And so once you understand that, listen, you're a God. When someone comes to you who has authority in the church and they come to speak to you, then that person cannot make you less than what you are. What they can make you based on correction is better than who you are. Because we understand what you possess. When you served or you did not know Yahweh, you were living as non-gods. You were slaves. Now, the blind will read this and say that this spoke to the Hebrews and the Africans who came on the ships. Are you that daft? The Galatians never came in any ship. They were Europeans. So how do you come? What ship they came on? They were never enslaved by anybody. So Shaul, when he spoke to the church at Galatia, he was not speaking to those who were in the transatlantic slave trade and who got there eventually, or that prophetic utterance. No. He was speaking to people who, based on their lifestyle, they were enslaved to the world and systems of the world. May I inform you that those of you to whom I speak, among you are many who are still slaves, though they're not enslaved by man, in reference to the slave trade as you know it. But you're bound by systems. You're afraid to confront systems that are demonic and devilish. You conform to systems that are evil just because you want to have money. People can make you do so many things. And you call it functioning in wisdom. You are a slave to mammon. You're a slave to money. And that is why people can control you. Even the wicked can control your godly behavior. Because you're a slave to money. As a saint, you should never ever bow to the ways of the wicked. You know how many of y'all been a part of Christmas parties already? Because you had to do it. You didn't have to do anything. You chose to do it because you are afraid to stand out since you don't know who you are. Or because you're a slave to a system. Separate will be a broadcast that speaks to it, but some of you may know what I address in reference to here in Guyana, South America, where they're telling us you have to present your photo ID, present your ID card, present your national identification card, for them to take a photograph of you, register you, then you could get $500 of what they call this grant. I said that I am not doing it. Because there's nobody in this state called Guyana, South America, the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, who can make me, as a grown man and a saint, who's a god, according to Yahweh's description, bow to any stupid thing they want to do. You cannot ask for photo ID of myself. You see the photo ID, that's how you match it with me. And then tell me after that, you take a picture of me to put it in a database so I can get money that belongs to me. I have to be a fool. I'm not a slave to wicked systems, and it's a wicked system. So I'm not doing it. I do not conform to stupid commands. It has never been the case with me. Even as a heathen, people can get me to follow things that are stupid. Of course, you know Mr. Fauci. Fauci, the demon who should not even be breathing today. Right. Oh, take this. When you put it here, you would not have the virus. When you take it, oh, take another one to help you to not have the virus. Oh, then when you take it, it's not a vaccine. It's really something to help you to build immunity. Or take some more. And if you don't take this, you cannot have money. Oh, well, let me take it then. If you don't take this, you cannot go to work. Oh, well, I better take it so I can get to work. You have bowed to systems. You have bowed to systems. And the anti-Messiah, the Antichrist, is practicing all along how to make people conform to systems. For the Antichrist will rule the world according to systems of governance. What's a system? Unless you have a mark, unless you have some identification to show that you belong to the anti-Messiah, you can't eat. Oh, let me go take it then because it makes sense. It is unwise for you to not have it. Remember, you have a family. That's how the blind saints will talk. Because you don't have a spirit. When you possess the spirit of Yahweh, systems of the world do not fool you and don't control you. So Shaul was rebuking them about the system of legalistic observances of Torah. They wanted to observe the law and keep the commandments and follow these systems. And Shaul said, I am going to deal with y'all. Blessing, brother Chris and sister Corrine. Shalom, shalom. Shaul was so upset with the church at Corinth because they were following wicked men whose intentions were evil. And there was a system orchestrated. They said that if you want to be saved, you have to be circumcised as a man. That's a system. Oh, the way that Yahweh has established, which is to trust Yeshua, trust in his sacrifice, trust in his execution. That doesn't work. You have to add something else to that. There you see, Marcy said she lost her job. I know people who lost their job, as they call it. They didn't lose. but I understand the context in which you speak. You gained a position among those who understand righteousness and who understands taking a stance against a system of corruption that's wicked. You have to understand as a saint that the spirit of the anti-Messiah, the spirit of the Antichrist is already at work in the earth. He's been at work since way back. So if the spirit of the man of lawlessness is at work, then it's obvious that that spirit has to possess somebody to make them do certain things. I was told that I can't go along with other guy needs to get money from the bank, because if I don't have this job, I can't, and present some book, I can't go to the bank. Well, it's 2025, 24, well, almost 25, according to Pope Gregory's calendar. Am I not still here? Out of that, they increase the sum that we can withdraw from a bank up to $1,000 US dollars a day. And let me tell you saying something, and you Christian something right now. A Muslim man, I never forget that. I met him, a store owner. A Muslim, not a Christian, not a Hindu. And your Jesus is so powerful that you have to bow. And remember, they locked the pastor and his family out of the church. Jesus did that. Jesus will lock the pastor and his assistant pastor and his family out of the church. I tell him he's a God, because you're so weak. But a Muslim stood with me, and he said to me, as an owner of a business, none of my employees, that's his word to me, he said, not one of my employees can be forced to take any job here, and nobody could lock my store. Guess what? 2 years went by, and nobody came to arrest him, nobody came to stop his employees from going into the store, because he said, a Muslim said, that not a man could come here and tell me what to do my business. And guess what? He believes in jihad. He meant what he said. And not a soul came close to him. But the Christians locked the pastor of the church. I would still travel. I'll still go wherever to do business with him. And I knew this with the Christian said. Because I respect men who have courage. You call it what you want. I'm telling you the truth. I don't do business with weak people. Once I identified you as one who would bow and hide and duck and be wicked and weak, I'm not doing business with you. My money may not be significant, but it's significant to me to determine where I spend it. There are certain products that I do not buy any longer because businesses lock my brothers and sisters out. I don't buy anything from you all. You must understand strength. And so in this rebuke, Shaul was telling them about the fact that when they were lost, they were non-gods. Shalom, my brother Apostle Josh. They were non-gods. When you are saved, when you're sanctified, when you're redeemed, when you're dragged out of darkness and put into light, you become a god. And gods are classified as rulers. Rulers understand the power of correction. Please write that. Type that for somebody, please. Way at the back of the bush hiding. Gods understand the power of correction. You need to get that clear. To know whether you're a peasant or whether you're a ruler, you'll understand what I just said to you. Gods understand the power of correction. That's why they have advisors. Do you know that in Guyana we pay multiple people millions of dollars to advise Ali? Well, he doesn't take any apparently, but it is so. The presidents of nations have advisors. Please understand that. Because gods who call rulers understand the power of counsel and correction. If you are honestly functioning as a god, you will always value correction. Always. That's why kings are advised, presidents, wherever you are advised, then you speak. So you won't sound like a fool. I told you, Ali doesn't have that. And for all you who said that, oh, Lord, I get contracts, he can't talk, I guess I'm not talking now, because I'm speaking about Ali now, am I not? Irfan does not function as if he has advice, or he doesn't understand what advice is, or what correction is. For those of you who believe that any administration, because we're the government, the country is governed by people through representation. Nobody can govern me. We govern by people through representation. As a God, based on my God, my Yahweh, my Father, my Master, my Creator classifies me to be. As a God in this earth, no man could give me some contract to make me quiet. When you're poor, you're a peasant, that's how you think. And those of you who have that narrative out of your mouth, you were born poor. That's why you talk the way you talk. I was never born an impoverished person. I never understood what it was to be poor. So there's nothing called money that could move me. I attended a school, Butukade School, and it was what it was. One of the best schools in the nation. One of the best schools in Guyana. Actually, it was the best primary school in the whole country. Parts of the Caribbean as well. My classroom had wall-to-wall carpeting. Air conditioning. All day. I lived about 300 meters or less away from the school. And I was chauffeur driven in the bus. The bus had to pick us up and take us home every single day. To and from school. We had our own movie theater in a school. So I wasn't born into poverty. And when you understand that you are a God, nobody could give you some money and make you quiet. Let's go deeper into this text. Gods understand the power of correction. Gods understand the power of correction. That's why Pastor Mel, swimming classes, we had a pool at the guest house, ballet classes, in school, by the way. The president used to visit our school. Our school road used to be swept every day, just about. Understand what I'm talking about here? You never saw moss in the drains. Never. Galatians 4 verse 9. He said, but now you know Yahweh. Now you know Yahweh. In the past you didn't know him, and you served as slave beings, which are in reality non-gods. But now you know Yahweh. But now you do know Yahweh. And more than that, you are known by Yahweh. Oh, saints, hear me please. You are known by Yahweh. So how is it that you turn back again to those weak and miserable elemental spirits? Do you know? Because the saints, the other people in the church, oh, you go back to the beggarly elements of this world. The preachers say that, read that, about the beggarly elements of the world. Do you understand why Shaul told them about that? About the weak, miserable elemental spirits? You know why he said that? Because when you are a god, that's the context in which he said it. When you are a god, the weak things of this world should never attract you. So we can't just say this thing as crazy people. When you are a god, the weak things of this world should never, ever attract you. Worthless, stupid philosophies of this world when you are a God, you understand how to walk in any circle. So you're saying to them, you have to understand, you should know what you are in Yahweh. Because once you understand what you are in Yahweh, then the weak teachings of this world should never attract you. But if you're not a God, the weak teachings will always get to you. Oh, give me some money and you'll get a blessing. Oh, give this to me, you get and sow a seed. And you know that January is not in any way the first fruit season of Israel, but you give your first fruit. That's insanity. It's weakness of your mind. So you're trying to find some other thing to make you feel as if you're saved. I'm going to say that I don't ever want to promote this thing where you think that I'm encouraging people to do things, but the truth is the truth. Some may believe, oh, if you're saved, you can't drink a beer because saved people don't drink a beer. So it's a big argument now. Oh, when you're saved, you shouldn't do that. Listen to me. You have been salvaged from the weak thinking of the world. What you do not do is use anything that destroys your body. Not because it's sinful, it's because it's stupid. I will not do anything and make my body so weak that I have to go to the doctor the next day. Or in the future I know that this is going to kill me, and I say go ahead and do it. But do not go around branding things as sinful because you see people doing them and it doesn't conform to what you think is okay. Now, this is a mature conversation, so if you're not in the league, then I can't talk to you. But you must understand the freedom that you have when you come to the truth. And that freedom that you have, hear me carefully, should never be a stumbling block for another saint. So understand that now. You don't become dismissive of people and say, I don't care what you say, I'll do what I want. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. The freedom that you have is not to make another saint stumble. So what may be okay for you may not be okay for your brother or your sister. You do not go and make them feel uncomfortable. But those of you who are weak, just don't find yourself wrong among those who are too strong to do certain things. We have been given freedom. And I don't know what happened to some of y'all if you were alive when Yeshua walked the earth, when our Messiah walked the earth, and you went to the wedding at Cana, where he turned water into wine. The governor was not a saint. So I don't know how Assemblies of God start teaching, or he turned it into unfermented wine. The governor was not a saint. It was not a Christian wedding he went to. So what do you believe they would have been drinking? I don't know what you would have been when the 5 wise and 5 foolish virgins had to be dancing in reference to what Yeshua taught, because there were 10 virgins who would be selected, a virgin, a group of them, and they had to dance to go meet the groom. What were they dancing to? Thank you, my brother, Apostle Josh. I have to show them, Apostle Josh is speaking to the contract and why I'm showing you videos and so on, because I work for you. That's why I do videos of what I'm doing, and that's just segue here. The reason why I do videos of what I'm doing on the road is to show the people of Guyana, not Linden, Guyana, because the money is paid to the company for the people of, it's owned by the people of Guyana. It's not a people paying me or paying the company I own. So I will show you, as a taxpayer, this was happening to your money. This was being done step by step, because I'm reporting to the people of Guyana. There's no secret aspect of this contract that the company has. Thank you, Pastor Josh. That's called transparency and honesty. You don't cut corners. So, as a saint, you should not turn back. You should not return to elements and things in this world that are weak. Never do that. What you should do is you should understand who you are and walk in that authority. Now, can you imagine being rebuked? Hear me. Can you imagine being rebuked by someone in authority? And in this rebuke, you are hearing now that you were once a non-God, but now you're a God. How could you get offended when you're now being told about how powerful you are and why you shouldn't follow stupidness? I hope you all get this. There's no room, if you have sense, for you to be offended and not hear who you are. What are you? You mad because of how somebody talked to you? Instead of understanding the person's informing you about who you really are? Do you even understand who you are as a person? Because the individual who's rebuking you is rebuking you so that you can have information about yourself. And you're offended because of how they sound. All right. Ooh, read on verse 9. Do you want to enslave yourselves to them once more? Look at what you are. Do you want to enslave, and I'll show you what they are. Enslave yourself to them once more. What is it? Okay, verse 10. You observe special days, months, seasons, and years. They are weak elements. Once you creep into that frame of mind, that you are bound to certain things, that's a weak element. In Yahweh, we are free from all systems of this world. So you don't find me, because I understand who I am, you don't find me going back into observing, oh, this is a season of this and a season of that. I don't do that, because I'm way beyond that, given the grace I have as an apostle of Yeshua. There is no season of the year that should bind you to it. No first fruit, second fruit, third fruit, last fruit, Christmas, none of them. Even I of course, and maybe I should touch on this to help some of you all right here. Because I saw Pastor Mel, or you'd have observed Pastor Mel, who's a Pastor Melanie, would have posted about Kwanzaa. And I know it got some saints' attention, and some people looking, oh. And I was going to do that as a separate broadcast, maybe I would as well, just to help you all understand something. But let me just insert this right here. First of all, Kwanzaa is what is called secular. It has nothing to do with religion. That's the first thing you need to know. Kwanzaa was designed or developed or conceptualized by an African American who understood, based on hundreds of years of slavery and evil that was done to African people and still are being done to African people in the USA and across the world. He said, no, we need to have a time whereby we can go back to roots. We can be in touch with our Africanness. And the principles by which we function. Now look at this. In Guyana, for example, in Guyana, South America, those who were captured, the Hebrew people were captured and sold and made into slaves and stuff like that, beaten, raped, murdered. These individuals came here with a culture in them, but nobody could take away. Some of them conform to the European culture because it was going to save their lives. They didn't do something, they'll die. But they said knew within themselves who they were. Listen to me, please. When the announcement was made, okay, then slavery is abolished. Guess what they did? They bought numerous villages and plantations. No, they didn't buy a piece of land, a little acre. Because included in Kwanzaa was the principle of unity, doing things together, that Africans have lost. That's why I have to give you all a whole lot of broadcasting, because Africans in Guyana, especially, you all have lost a sense of who you are across the board. Even with the road contract stuff, you show me that you don't even have a sense as to who you are. You fight, destroy somebody's road, destroy something just because you want to grab for you. I am out there sharing knowledge. Nobody had to pay me to do that, because apart from being one who understands integrity, I want to help those who may have it but don't know what to do. Why? Because in the whole concept of being a Hebrew, you are a community of people. And anybody who's saved becomes a Hebrew. You hear little Lisa, she's cranking a boy. My girl knows to sing, and she sings for food. When she gets hungry, it's over. When you understand who you are in Yahweh as a people, I'm speaking to the saints in the body of Messiah, that's how we ought to function. We shouldn't fight against each other. Why don't you have businesses being born in the body of Messiah? Why? Why can't we get together and form businesses? Even today, I'm about to engage shortly in another meeting, maybe sometime in the week, to start another business as a unified body. Because I'm going to lead by example. We must have investments made together. Stop being selfish. But if we're going to bind ourselves to say, oh, I have to keep Kwanzaa or else I'll do this, don't do that. Do not do that. You don't have to do anything regarding festivities or seasons and times. Once you become bound to it, then you back to the beggarly elements of the world. But if you understand the principles of it, because it doesn't make sense to keep it at one time and then come mid-year next year, you suddenly divide it. And may I inform you that you can't have Kwanzaa in reference to the principles of it if you're divided from African people who like you, especially saints. Relationships must be repaired because you understand unity. They couldn't buy villages in Guyana if they were divided. Do you understand that when these men were freed, they were able to get together and say, okay, then how much money you have? How much do you have? How much do you have? They bought Pleasance, bought Good for Acting, bought Buxton, purchased places like Paradise. They purchased Victoria. They bought villages on the further Babis, number 5, number 28, Tempe. These men bought almost the whole East Coast. Dartmouth Mountain, Essequibo, bought so many villages in it. The Africans who were enslaved started buying villages across Guyana. You need to understand what this principle is about. So if you are unprepared to share your wealth in an investment opportunity with your brother and sister, don't talk to me about Kwanzaa. So some folk would say, oh, I don't want to be connected to that. You see Pastor Mel posted some African artwork. And you, oh my God, that's a jumbie. Because I had a thought that I will share with you today. Have you noticed? Have you ever taken note of the fact that if an African does not dress like a European, if an Indian, East Indian, Apostle Josh is East Indian, if he doesn't dress like a European, he's not considered to be properly dressed in certain circles. Do you understand what these people have done to you? That unless you dress like a European, you are not formally attired. So if Apostle just puts on a native Indian garb, and his wife, my dear sister, he puts on an Indian garb, guess what? They're considered to be improperly dressed and informally dressed in certain circles. And the dummies talk about, oh, you have a black tie event. What the hell? There's no black tie, nothing with me anymore. I would not be there. That's what I'm talking about, defeating systems. If you tell me that I have to have a black tie to go to your event, then I'm not coming to it. And I'm not going to have to dress like a European to please anybody. That's how you understand who you are as a person. You are not supposed to bow to these weak elements. And in rebuking the saints, the apostle is saying you need to understand who you are. Get a grip of who you are. You're going to keep in days and weeks and months and years. Get over it. You're bigger than that. And person get offended because you're touching their Christmas. And you're touching their this. And you're touching my season. And you're touching my Kwanzaa. And touching... No, I'm touching your ignorance. The man and my niece Deborah just posted what Kwanzaa was about. But do not get lost into thinking that this is something you can make spiritual. Don't do it. Do not ever think you can take this thing and make it spiritual. It's cultural. It's where people of African descent are encouraged to remember who you are. Shaul, being a Hebrew, said, I'm a Hebrew. He said, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin. And he was happy to say that. Oh, there you go, my son wrote it. You have to eat with a knife and a fork, or you, if not, if you eat with your hands, or you're barbaric. We don't do that. You were cultured into hating what you are. Oh, let me say it to you all again. You were cultured, especially Africans, into hating what you are. There rarely any other group in this world who has as much hate directed at them as us. Trisha, we have a misuse here. So we want to promote each other's business, and in the not too distant future, once I get through these broadcasts and stuff, you'll see where we're going with this. We are going to promote our culture. Oh my God, Apostle Josh is on it today, but Apostle, the sad part, many failed to protect those lands, and some sold it without thinking of the struggle. Oh my Lord, Apostle. Exactly. Some men died, left some money. Because remember, it's 400 years you're talking about here, and 200 plus years in certain parts of the world. So they left their little pittance. And now their generations are just selling it out. Mocha, Arcadia, selling it. Even diamond was owned by slaves. Don't get confused. There is no other group, because Europeans came and they didn't buy anything. They just killed people and took it. But there's no other group in this nation who bought more lands than Africans. Do you understand that? Can you get that yet? In terms of our history, Apostle Josh is helping out with this. There's no other group who bought more lands than Hebrews in this country. And what happened to it now? So what is our task? Our task is for you to not become enslaved to some they. Some of you have, oh, I'm keeping the Feast of Trumpets. Listen to me. If you understand who the Messiah is, what he has done, the new law he has enacted, then you would not go back to keeping certain things and thinking that makes you holy. You would not. Shaul said to them, verse 11, I fear for you that my work among you has been wasted. I fear for you all that if you see artwork in Pastor Mel's house, you are scared of even what your parents designed. And guess what? If you go to the Buckingham Palace in England, the same artwork is there. They stole it. The royal criminals stole our foreparents' artwork. And you have to pay to see it. They are thieves. They stole diamonds. They stole the rubies. They stole precious minerals. They are criminals. And I fear that the apostolic teaching I give to you, even about who you are, is going to waste for some of y'all. I get sick to my stomach. Buju, and some of y'all, you get mad at me, I don't care. You lost ones. Buju Banton, Beanie Man, are thanking the USA they got back a visa. What nonsense you telling me? So they can't say my batty boy no more. Buju sang, boom, bye, and a batty boy here. The USA, huh? Jail, no visa for you. Out. Don't come back. Buju can't sing about sodomy anymore. Beanie Man, who sang against sodomy, got his visa back after 10 years. Why? Because he has to vow, I will not sing against lesbianism, I will not touch homosexuality. And Beanie Man is now saying, yes, thank you very much, I'm thankful to the USA. I don't care. Listen to me. There is nothing in this world that would make me, in order to get into any nation, say that I accept what is wicked. So men who are culturally seen as bad boys, who stood up to the white man, bowing to him now. Say, okay, I wouldn't say anything bad. Sorry, massa, I wouldn't do it. But sorry, massa. That's why I'm telling you all. I'm in the 5th year. One of my daughters will get married and I say that. I have to fix it though. 4 years. My Guyanese passport has expired. All because Frank Anthony was telling me that I had to pay $25,000 to get a passport renewed. The passport costs $5,000 or $4,000 Guyana, $20 US. I must pay $25,000, $125 US to have my passport. And I told Frank Anthony plain, hell no. I am not paying if any PCR test took something on my nose so I can be deemed free of COVID, or take a jab in my hand so I can get a passport. No! And I was so mad that 4 years passed, I didn't get it. I ain't going to renew any visa, nothing. I don't care. I'm not taking any job to go anywhere. No, I'm telling you all, when it comes to people trying to herd me into a certain direction, it doesn't go well. Anybody who wants to create a system that I have to do it or else, you on your own. Beanie Man has bowed. Buju Banton has bowed. He cannot speak against homosexuality ever again. My Lord, therefore has spoken. Europeans have created their paradise from our land. My God. And resources, and convinced us that we can only achieve paradise in heaven. This is a young lady about 20 years old? I don't know her age, but she's a baby. This is what the saints, this is what pleases my soul. When the saints get it. This is a child talking to you all here. The Europeans have their beautiful flower gardens and mansions, and I have some land by the lake, and I have this by the lake. And do you know they're coming to Guyana now? And they're boasting in ExxonMobil how much land they're buying? And when they make money from us, they go and they live on a ranch in Texas, and they have a ranch by somewhere else. That's what they're doing to you now. And I'm telling you all as saints, let us get together. We're going to buy lands. It's not about African and Hebrew and Indian. I'm talking to you as saints. There's no Gentile, no Greek, no Scythian, nothing. We're speaking as saints. As saints, we're going to get bigger and bigger in business. and we're going to buy lands across Guyana, lands across the US. We get sense. Wow, Apostle, look, selling it out. Oh, I feel this in the spirit today, as the church people say. We are going to buy lands, not no little house lot. If they 5 lots that give us 10 acres of land, we buying all. Don't buy no one and say, I own a piece of house out here. No, we're buying communities across this world. See it in the spirit, but you will see it. We will have lands across the world owned by saints. I'm not selling it. We're going to write on land who missed it, or for parents who missed it, and Indians who missed it. We're missing it. We're going to have on record, sworn record and sealed, no generation will sell it. You will lease it to anybody who wants to come in it. You're selling it. You can lease the land, but no one will sell it. You can farm in it, but nobody will sell it. Let us unite. Let us have sense. Some of y'all will catch up with me the next 50 years from now. I am in different business venture because I've learned. Warren Buffett taught me that long ago. Elon Musk taught me that long ago too. You don't ever put all your don't they say that? Your eggs in one basket? Don't do that. Diversify. Build business all over the place. Do different things. Someone must succeed. When one is failing, one can lift it up, or you get rid of it and do something else. We will buy lands. We will do business together. If we don't have enough money to buy one plot of land, you all hear me? If one of you doesn't have enough to buy one plot, let 10 of us buy the one. Don't be greedy and don't be stupid. When we buy that one, 10 of us own massive land. We can then do what we have to do with it as a group. I told you all, we shall form co-ops. Because we are going to show the world that the saints of Yahweh know how to get back what is theirs. You can't fail having sense. Kai said the wicked politician will form laws, take it away. No politician can take away anything from me. Politicians fear people who understand who they are. That's why I told you gods. According to Yahweh's word, you are classified as gods. And if you know who you are, which little wimp CC politician come take anything from me? Huh? If you know who you are, which politician can make some law? Let me break it down for y'all. Even in reference to political circles, we will be in it. So they can't take from you what you control. I am encouraging our generations to be not like some of y'all. We are going to into the houses of authority. We're going into the houses of authority whereby we make laws in the country. Our children will be the highest paid, the smartest, the wisest, the most dominant. So they'll be making laws. That's why same thing what I'm doing. When I get into circles and you get into circles of influence, they can't take anything from you. And may I inform you that when you have got land, when you've got economic power, politicians will bow to your feet because they fear it. They dread it. The two most powerful things you can have is a knowledge of who you are and money. If you have money, you don't know who you are, you lose it. If you have wealth and you know who you are, politicians will run from you. They won't even want to come and talk to you properly. They bow at your feet. Yeshua HaMashiach promised that those who claim to be Jews and are not will come bowing to our feet. They will have to bow. I don't care. They can't make no law that they have to bow because it's a prophecy. They will have to bow at the feet of the descendants of Yahweh of Israel. They will bow to our feet. They can't move without us. That's it. They have to come and consult with us. We have a plan to build we want to build a school here. Is it okay for us to do this? And then they talk about eminent domain. Eminent domain can't be applied to what is owned by generations of people. Because we own the system. We will control the system. We'll dominate in systems of this world. Economic systems I'm talking about. We will understand the systems and beat them every time. That's why among us there are accountants. You all need to understand what's happening to you. Why? And that's why Shu was talking to Galatians the way he did. Why do you have accountants among you? Why do you have shipping companies among you all? Think. Why do you have doctors? Why do you have preschool teachers among you? Think. Why do you have people who are trained to teach a generation? Early childhood education. Why you have that in your presence? Why you have businessmen like Apostle Josh? Years and his wife, decades of business. Why you have doctors in your presence? We have brothers who are farmers already. Now you all need to get this. You need to get, please. The rebuke today is for you to understand what you are. Don't be offended. Some of you get mad at I don't want to hear me. Don't hear me. I didn't ask you to hear me. Those who are of the truth, they hear the truth. Property managers, you don't know what you have sitting among you. We have everything we need. Watch this, not just in Guyana. Because we're not building for Guyana alone. So when we need information, you can reach out, and you have phones and devices in your hand. You can reach out across the waters, across the airwaves. But your chef is involved studying now about project management. Why do you think we have this available to us? Teacher Renford has a master's, I think it is by now. He's versed in project management. We have got, my father was human resources manager for decades. We have what we need. We have custom brokers, all that in the body, not in Guyana. I'm talking in the body. In the body. Sister Nat understands insurance more than anybody else I can think about right now. Sister Rundy's with taxes, a tax agent. Susan is a tax agent. Boy, listen, y'all don't play with me. We have all that we need in the house. You have 2 or 3 registered construction companies in the church. And we playing. Sister Tracy and I were talking. I'm telling y'all, we're going into ventures. If you miss, you're gone. You're out the boat. I've got a brother in Bahamas who's talking to me about investing in Guyana, investing wherever it is. We have to make investments. We're going to invest in small homes, tiny homes as they call them. You watch what will happen. We ain't building big houses where Saints can't afford to get it. We're going to build tiny homes. That's why you have to acquire the lands. We will make this happen. Build tiny homes. The saints will have building projects. The saints will have it. Building ventures. Community will be built. We could make this happen. When I'm in Linden, there you go. Sister, listen, Pastor, sister, now don't play with me. Oh, glory. You have registered business. Listen, it's over now for them. It's over for them. You don't have to, we on the ground. When I'm in Linden, I do business with my brothers, my sisters, or my kinfolk. Meaning, I mean by my brothers and sisters by faith. But I walk into their business and say, let's do this. I will buy from you. There has to be a bigger mentality in us, man, whereby we could see beyond what is before us. Oh my Lord. My Okisai right grand sale business is acquired funding. You all need more than that? I am telling you that all that you need is sitting right here before you. We have medical professionals in our business. In our business. So, I was dealing with all that to try to go back to the Kwanzaa concept. It was a concept that Africans must understand who you are, value who you are, and return to who you are. It is not about saying well, we have to keep this and we have to keep that and make it all ritualistic. It is not that. What you must understand as a saint is the spirit of a thing. Once you get to the spirit of something, you understand whether you should deal with it or not. If the spirit of a thing is to say that, listen, you have been beaten, abused, battered, tattered, shattered as Africans for hundreds of years, to the point whereby some of you have lost a sense of who you are. Come back to who you are. Don't get mad. Let me just close with this. Do you not talk about in the US the Mayflower? Are you taught about Mayflower in the US? And the pilgrims who came? Do you not? We're in Guyana. I'm in Guyana. And I could talk to you about the Mayflower. And about the pilgrims. Guess who they were? White people. Are you not taught about that in schools? Good afternoon, Rhonda. I'll pick up on this next week. Let me close with this right here. Don't rub yourself on the floor, baby. Don't do that. Are you not taught in schools about the Mayflower? Come, y'all talk. Please come and talk to me. Huh? You can't be going to rub yourself on the floor. Right. Okay. Good. Now here's my question for you. I'll be honest. For you say be honest. Be honest. Listen. Are you ever taught in schools that they came and eventually took the lands and the resources away from the natives? Do they teach you that? Do they teach you the narrative in that way, that they came and killed thousands, millions of people as they multiplied? As they multiplied, do they not teach you in school? Do they teach you in school, I should ask, that they came and they slaughtered the people who were there? Because natives have to be there. Who were there before you? Are those who were there before you? Do they teach you that they took people's lands away and put them on what are called reservations? Oh, so you learn about those who are illegal immigrants. The natives weren't illegal. Those who came on the Mayflower, you were illegal immigrants. Oh, and you thought, oh, our forefathers came on the Mayflower and they discovered the US and they're the ones who began to farm and they began to expand. No, they were illegal immigrants. That's what they classified as gone to Trump and Hillary and all y'all. Did they teach you that when they went to Africa and they saw there was great business selling Hebrew people, did they teach you that when they found those people, the people were not slaves? That those people were, in some cases, princes, princesses, businessmen? That's why when they came to the US, they still had the understanding of how to do business. So they knew that even if you give me a quarter a week, I can save it. And if 10,000 of us are saving a quarter every week, we have enough money to buy your land when you want to sell it. Thieves. Sister Nat's history book was called The People Who Came. Exactly. That's funny. The people who came. We must return to understanding who we are. And I know the preachers are afraid to preach the way I do, because they would think they won't make money doing it. But I could tell you this. David said that we're not taught that the natives are being murdered up until today. The Mayflower people began to starve and natives helped them. Unfortunately so. But Yahweh knows what he was doing. Even in reference to our Caribbean history, they don't tell you the truth. Do you know that even in Guyana, when the Africans tried to run and hide, then the Hebrew people said, we're going to escape from this life. We're going to go in the bush and we're going to live. The natives were the ones who used to capture them and bring them back to Massa as a business. Huh? Yet when we want to gather as a people to say that we're now going to put our thoughts together, our strength together, our power together, and as saints, regardless of what your hair looks like, as a saint, we're going to now build on the principle of unity, togetherness, self-awareness, boldness, courage, gifting. If I have knowledge, and I do this, I say again, even with the most hedonistic people. If someone calls me and say, apostle or pastor, whatever they call me, listen, I'm working in the foundation, I'm building for somebody, what do? I will share my knowledge for free. You don't have to pay me, because that's a principle of the Hebrew people. If I share what I know to help to build my community looks better based on knowledge, not selfishness. Theo is here. If I call Theo, it's a Theodore. I'm planting whatever it is. I'm not getting the yield I need. I don't have to pay Theodore to tell me what to do to make my plants grow. I know him, and I know I can talk safely here. It doesn't make his business weaker. I could call Apostle Zechariah. Apostle, this thing got broken. I need to know how to weld it. What rod should I use? What should I do with this? My brother will tell me immediately, do this, use this rod, do that. And you don't have to pay him for it. Always learn that. When you invest your knowledge in your community grows and you benefit from it. That's an investment of a wise person. If a child does not know how to read, and the child cannot afford to pay you, teach them without a cost. Because you have taught a child how to do business and how to survive in a world that's terrible. Your community will look better. With that said, I bid you all shalom. And it is my hope that you are strengthened from what you've heard, that you're not offended, but that you grow. If there's anything that you should do, is that you should learn how to love your brother and your sister. Because within that vessel could be what you need to make you better. Do not be offended by wisdom and intelligence. Be inspired by them. May the love of Yahweh keep you and abound to you at all times. As always, I will continue to say how grateful I am to those of you who invest, who give, who share your kindness with me and with my family. Be blessed as always. I am grateful for your kindness. I am thankful for your kindness. It means so much to me. Wow, Apostle Josh. We will have discussions on how we're going to build businesses. And this is not talk. We're going to have business models on how we're going to build businesses and how we're going to win. Much love. Bye-bye.